Hello, I'm Bill Pollock, sports director here at Missouri Net. Did the guidelines for Mizzou football players' protests change from Saturday to Sunday? It certainly appears that way if you read the statements that were released. Now, we won't have the opportunity to hear from Gary Pinkel, and I'm assuming the players today, later on Monday afternoon, at their regularly scheduled media day, press conference, and interviews. But on Saturday night, a statement was released on behalf of the players, and it read, "The athletes of color on the University of Missouri football team truly believe injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We will no longer participate in any football-related activities until President Tim Wolf resigns or is removed due to his negligence toward marginalized student experiences. We are united." That was the statement we got Saturday night. Then Sunday morning, Gary Pinkel tweeted a photo. It's of him with his arms linked with his players, and it says, quote, "The Mizzou family stands as one. We are united. We are behind our players." Now, as the players left that meeting in Columbia Sunday morning, they would not talk with the media, give any official statements, whether they were told not to or they didn't want to at that time. They said they are looking forward to their opportunity, but they didn't do it at that point. They may have been waiting to see what President Wolf was going to say. In late Sunday morning, he did release a statement, and I won't read that statement, but nowhere in that statement did he say that he was stepping down or resigning from his position. Then late Sunday afternoon, early evening, a joint statement was released by the athletic department on behalf of Mac Rhodes and Gary Pinkel, and it read, "Today, Sunday, there will be no football practice or formal team activities. Our focus right now is on the health of Jonathan Butler, the concerns of our student athletes in working with our community to address this serious issue. After meeting with the team this morning, it is clear they do not plan to return to practice until Jonathan resumes eating. We are continuing to have department, campus, and student meetings as we work through this issue." And then they say that they will provide further comments on Monday afternoon. So something happened from Saturday evening to Sunday afternoon evening to change the stance of the protest from the resignation or firing of President Wolf to whether or not the grad student, Jonathan Butler, eats any solid foods. Now, why and how did that change? I mean, that's something that we need to find out, and we don't know yet. What it does is it gets Gary Pinkel off a potential hot seat. I mean, a big hot seat. Heading into Sunday morning, Pinkel was in a damned if he does, damned if he doesn't situation. If he were to go to his players and demand, push, request that they attend team activities, he would have lost them. It would have been mutiny, and that would have been his job. But what it did show is it showed his players that he stands behind them, and that he's got their back. And it also shows recruits looking at the program that Pinkel is a player's coach. What it does on the other end is this message basically says that he agrees that Wolf, essentially one of his employers, needs to go. And that could have been damaging. But we got that second message in the day that talked about it is clear they do not plan to return to practice until Jonathan resumes eating. So this went from the president to a kid that's on a hunger strike. And that, from the statement from the athletic department, is what this protest is all about, that they're going to stop this protest once Butler begins to eat again. And the way I see it, it says this covers practice. I mean, what falls under that umbrella of practice? Is that team meetings? Is that weightlifting during the week? Is that conditioning? Is that film study? I mean, to me, practice is putting on the helmet and shoulder pads and going out and running through your plays, getting ready for BYU. To me, I don't consider practice to be a film study or team meetings. So in their first statement on Saturday, it was all activities. Now it's practice. So maybe I'm splitting hairs. I don't know. But it just seems to me like the stance has changed from Saturday night to Sunday afternoon. Now, a lot of people are saying, look, this game is in jeopardy. I'm still not convinced that that is going to be the case. I'm very positive and leaning very heavily toward this game being played in Kansas City. He said, well, all the players said that they're standing behind this. No practice, no team activities, however you want to read it. I mean, here's one scenario. If the black players that are on protest said A, B, and C needs to happen, or A and B needs to happen, or A needs to happen, and if A happens, then we'll come back. But if it doesn't, we're not playing, we're not participating, we're not being involved, however you want to draw that. I think as a coach or a player that is not a part of that protest, you can still support that. You could have in that meeting on Sunday and say, look, we absolutely know this is a big issue for you. We know what it means to you personally. We support your decision. We will back you up. We will not think of you any different as a teammate. We will not think of you any different as a student athlete. But we are going to coach and play this game regardless of whether or not you come on that team bus with us and go to Kansas City. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. I think you can support those teammates that want to take the stance and don't want to be a part of it, but you can still go yourself and play. In fact, I think you could make the argument that even has more of an impact of what the protesting players are trying to get across. If half the team or whatever percentage of that team, bulk of that team, is not in Kansas City and you play that football game, chances are you're going to have poor results. That's going to send a strong message that you need to be heard. So, again, I'm not ready to necessarily say that this game is going to be canceled. Also, if there is no game in Kansas City, what does that do of the relationship between the University of Missouri and the Kansas City Chiefs? Is that it? Will they never get back into Arrowhead Stadium again? You'll remember Mike Alden told Kansas City fans, we will not forget about you. We will be a part of this community. This is when they were leaving from the Big 12 to the SEC. They will play basketball there. They will have football games. Canceling a football game, what does that do to your fan base in Kansas City? So there's a lot of things that I'm sure they're talking about and discussing, but at the end of the day, I it could almost be program suicide if they don't play this game or put some type of players out on that field. Now, again, that's one scenario. And again, it could be that everyone, the whole team, coaches for sure, are saying, look, this has to come to an end. Something has to take place or we aren't playing this game. So we'll see what happens. But to me, the guidelines changed. They went from no football activities until President Wolf is fired or resigns to, well, once the hunger strike ends, then we'll go back to practice. So something has changed in that 24-hour period. We're going to try to find that out later on Monday afternoon in Columbia. You can follow me on Twitter at Missouri Sports. And, of course, get more on this story at MissouriNet.com. Thanks for watching, and have a great day. I appreciate it.